Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, September 26, 2014. You can follow us on Twitter at CATEX TV. The Wall Street Journal is just now reporting that PIMCO founder Bill Gross is going to be leaving PIMCO to go to Janus Capital. That's all that's out there right now. This will be a big story. PIMCO, it was revealed earlier this week, is being investigated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. There was a powerful 6.2 earthquake in Alaska yesterday morning at about 9:51 a.m. It struck about 100 miles away from Anchorage, the state's largest city. It caused strong swaying in downtown office buildings and evacuations of buildings. There was some concern initially that there was going to be a tsunami alert, but that was in fact canceled. The earthquake caused the stopping of all Alaska Railroad trains in their tracks in order to check bridges and railway tracks for damage, which is standard procedure from an earthquake. There does not seem to be any reports of any injuries or loss of life. The damage totals are not known yet. Robert Benmosche, who led AIG for about 6 years, was interviewed on Bloomberg TV in a story that aired early this morning. And he said that the emerging challenge to AIG from Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway in the excess and surplus lines business hasn't amounted to much so far. Buffett's firm had recruited AIG executives last year to expand commercial coverage under the Berkshire Hathaway specialty unit. Benmosche said that those who left AIG didn't buy into his efforts to increase collaboration at AIG. He said, quote, referring to those who departed, "They took their bitterness out on AIG and wanted to make a big show. They went over there and boy, are they really not showing us anything at all." Berkshire has targeted excess and surplus lines or business coverage that can't be obtained in regulated markets where AIG is dominant. There was a agreement that Buffett announced that he was going to stop recruiting from AIG for a year. This was after AIG complained publicly about it, but Buffett has now begun to hire again from AIG. Benmosche also had a couple of shots at Buffett personally, saying his last 10 years haven't been anything as good as his previous 20 years. Iraq's prime minister yesterday at the United Nations said that his government has gathered intelligence from captured ISIS fighters, indicating that the Islamic State is planning to attack targets in Europe and the United States, including subways. American intelligence officials expressed some skepticism about the assertion. The Prime Minister al-Abadi said the plotting was being carried out by foreign fighters who had made their way into Iraq to join ISIS. He said that the information is being shared with the United States. He said, quote, "From the details I have received, yes, it looks credible. Today, even while I'm here, I am receiving accurate reports from Baghdad." Apparently, according to him, the networks are planning from inside Iraq to have attacks. They plan to have attacks on the subways of New York and Paris. The ultimate UK financial regulator, the Bank of England, in the person of its governor, Mark Carney, is planning to vet senior officials in the insurance industry. In a speech yesterday, he said that the Bank of England would be implementing reforms in the insurance sector to ensure that the right people were held responsible. He said, quote, "The people running insurance companies should be more clearly held accountable for their actions. It must not be forgotten that the responsibility for running insurers rests with their boards and senior managers." He explained that even though a third of the bank's regulatory staff were involved in supervising insurers, this was just a start. He said these senior persons at the insurers will be expected to prove their fitness to regulators before they take up a role, and the onus will be on them to ensure that risks are understood, measured, and properly considered. Earlier this week, there were some reports in the media about an explosion in the Xinjiang region in northwestern China, where they've had that Uyghur revolt problem that has killed over 300 people for the past 2 years. At the time, there was a report that only 2 people were killed in a series of explosions, but the Chinese now are saying that it was as many as 50 people. They say that of the 50, 40 of them were assailants. 10 others, including police and bystanders, were killed. There were a series of explosions in Luntai County on Sunday. The price of a gallon of gasoline in the United States in some areas already, in Missouri, for example, has dipped below $3 a gallon, according to forecasts put out by a gas price tracking company, GasBuddy.com. The prices in 34 states are expected to dip below $3 a gallon for the first time in some time, actually, sometime this autumn. Lower fuel prices help the economy by making goods cheaper to ship, making travel more affordable, plus it leaves a few dollars in people's pockets. The 31-year-old leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, is now officially acknowledged by state media to be suffering from, quote, discomfort. He's not been seen in public for about 3 weeks. This is official acknowledgement of a health problem. He's frequently the centerpiece of the country's propaganda efforts, so when he disappears, it is quite noticeable. There's been a lot of speculation that he's suffering from bad health. He's been walking with a limp since an event with officials in July, and in a pre-recorded documentary broadcast last night by state media, he appeared to have difficulty walking. The 31-year-old Kim has rapidly gained weight since coming to power in 2011. According to some observers, Michael Madden, who is an expert on North Korean affairs, he said, based on his gait, it appears he has gout, something due to diet and genetic predisposition that has affected other members of the Kim family. Gout is something that typically afflicts people who eat considerable amounts of red meat and drink red wine, neither of which have ever been seen by the regular North Korean population. Last night in New York at Yankee Stadium, Derek Jeter played his final home game in New York. He singled in the ninth inning to score the winning run. He's now heading to Boston. That's the news for today. If we have anything breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. In the meantime, have a good weekend, and we'll see you Monday.